Welcome. In this explainer, we are going to master the principles of mortgage amortization specifically for the NMLS SAFE exam. We're going to build a solid mental model that goes beyond just the calculations and really gets to the core of what regulators and therefore the exam truly care about. So here's our plan. We'll start by uncovering the exam's real focus when it comes to this topic. Then, we'll break down the core principle of amortization itself, apply it to some common scenarios, and, this is critical, identify the high-risk loan structures you have to know. And finally, we'll wrap it all up into a powerful framework you can use on exam day. Okay, first things first. It is so important to understand what the SAFE exam is actually testing when you see an amortization question. It's less about your ability to be a human calculator and much more about understanding the why behind the numbers. And here is the key insight. For regulators, amortization is really a mechanism for predictability, for transparency, and ultimately for borrower protection. So the exam isn't just testing the math, it's testing if you understand the long-term impact on the consumer. That's the lens you need to look through. So keeping that regulatory perspective in mind, let's break down the fundamental mechanics of how amortization actually works. This is the foundation that every single exam question is built on. At its heart, amortization is just a structured way to pay down a loan over a set period. The key is that every single payment has two jobs to do. 1, pay the interest that's built up, and 2, pay down a little piece of the original loan balance. The whole process really hinges on one simple fact. It all begins when the loan balance is at its absolute highest, right at the very start. And that starting point leads us to this unbreakable rule. Interest is always calculated on the current outstanding balance. So think about it. A higher balance means more interest. A lower balance means less. It's just pure math. So because that balance is highest at the beginning, the interest part of the payment also has to be at its highest. Then, as the principal slowly gets chipped away month by month, the interest portion shrinks. That allows more of that same fixed payment to go towards the principal. This shift, you see, is a mathematical certainty. It is not a lender's choice. And please remember this for the exam. The split is determined by math, not by the lender's discretion. Any answer choice that suggests a lender is somehow manipulating this split on a monthly basis is a classic distractor, and it is always wrong. Okay, so let's take this core principle and apply it to a few scenarios you are very likely to see on the exam. This is where understanding the why really helps you nail the what. A really common scenario compares different loan terms. A 30-year loan, for instance, amortizes very slowly. That gives the borrower a lower monthly payment, which is great for affordability. But because the balance stays high for so much longer, the borrower pays way more in total interest. The exam will definitely test your understanding of this trade-off, that balance between monthly affordability and the long-term cost. Now, what about prepayment? This is another key scenario. When a borrower pays extra, that money goes straight to the principal. It directly attacks the loan balance, which in turn accelerates the whole amortization schedule. And the benefit for the borrower is huge. They save a substantial amount on the total interest paid over the life of that loan. Now, let's switch gears and look at this from a different angle. What's really interesting is how regulators view certain loan types as potential red flags. Understanding this perspective is absolutely key to identifying the correct answers on your exam. The exam is going to test your ability to spot loan structures that just don't have the predictability of a standard, fully amortizing loan. We're talking about features that can introduce things like payment shock, refinancing risk, or even a rising loan balance, all of which are major concerns for consumer protection. These 3 are critical: negative amortization, interest-only periods, and balloon loans. They all deviate from that standard, predictable paydown of principal, and each one introduces unique risks to the borrower. Because of that, they are subject to very strict disclosure requirements. So for negative amortization, the key takeaway is this: the loan balance actually increases even though the borrower is making payments. That is its defining characteristic. For a regulator and for the exam, this is a massive red flag that signals significant risk to the consumer. All right, let's pull all of this together into a clear framework for exam day. I want you to think of this as your mental checklist to systematically break down any amortization question you might face. By just walking through these 4 steps, you can logically deconstruct any question. First, just identify the loan structure. Second, figure out what's happening to the balance. Is it going down, staying the same, or going up?
Third, connect that to how the interest is being calculated. And fourth, evaluate the overall risk and cost to the borrower. This process will consistently guide you to the right answer.
So, the most important thing to leave with is this. Approach every amortization question with a regulator's mindset. Focus on predictability, transparency, and consumer safety. When you see amortization as a structural safeguard for the consumer, not just a series of calculations, you will be well prepared for the SAFE exam.